So that should not, I'm not able to actually in MVC, right? Pattern.
Okay. What is the difference between MVC and MVVM?
So in MVC is I would say it's a straightforward pattern. So in that every logic that is calling the API, validations, formatting, everything fall down into the controller, right? Whereas if we use MVVM, so we have a new layer that is a view model. So in that we can have a API call another business logic, which can separate from the view. Right.
So this, I think the same thing we are doing in the controller, the same thing we are doing in the view model here, right?
No, actually, so view model are the pure function which can be a modular and can be tested, right? But in MVC, everything is in view controller. So we have UI kit as well in same file.
Everything should be, the business logic should be in controller or view controller?
View controller, sorry. View controller in MVC.
Okay.
So yeah.
So what is view controller? So basically, according to the definition, if you go to the definition of MVC, so is there any concept of view controller?
Yeah, in MVC we have a model object, right?
Right.
Other than view controller, which is actually our view controller file, basically.
No, that are the two separate things. View is separate and controller is separate. If you will go to the definition of MVC, 3 modules are there. Module, right. View, and control.
Controller.
Not view controller.
Correct. So I think view would be our storyboard XIBs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and the controller would be our view controller.
Okay, so if you are making the extension of UI UI button, right? So will you consider as a view or as a controller? So I'll consider that as a part of view. Okay. Because it's ultimately a UI component, and we are. So according, if you will go to the definition of MVC, so there is no concept of view controller, right? Correct. But there is no concept. Correct. But practically, if we follow the pattern, then view controller is the only one which we interact, right? Okay. Suppose that you are the C developer or you are the Java developer, right? Then there is no concept of view controller again. Correct. Right. You need to create your custom controller there. Right. And then I think then your problem will be solved here. That means you what the mistake you are doing in the view controller. So there is no such scenario here, and still you are using MVC. But in that case, the controller will have everything, right? No, everything. What do you mean by everything? It means controller will have the responsibility for the technical logic, right? Yeah, are you getting my point? So just let me clear again. If we consider MVC, right, we have a models, okay? View would be our storyboard, right? Okay. And controller would be our view controller. Correct? No. In case of Swift, when you are working with Swift, then you can say like this. Right. But in other, if you are trying to implement MVC in other language, okay. So there is a view controller is not a part of. Correct. In that case, the controller would be a separate part. Separate part, right? Yeah. So in that case, because there is no view controller, so what the problem you are facing with the view controller, that problem is not there. Yeah, might be. We have a separate business logic and all things in controller itself.
Then what do you say? Suppose that for a Java developer or for any other language. So for that point of view, when architecture is Vue MVVM and when the architecture is MVC, because now I think your controller is same as the Vue model.
Vue model, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because actually I'm seeing this from a Swift perspective. So if we use the MVM, right? So our Vue controller will have only just IB outlets and all the UI component related things, right? In the controller.
If your Vue controller is having such problem, then it is not a problem of MVC architecture. It is the problem of your framework, what you are using, right? Yeah, it is the problem of your Vue controller concept.
Okay.
It is not a problem of MVC, because if this is the problem, then other developers will, other technology developers will also having the same problem.
Right.
But actually, it is not. You can improve it by using. If we are considering Vue controller as a Vue, I am not considering Vue controller as a controller. I am considering Vue controller as a Vue, and I will write all the UI logic there, right? And for the controller, I have created my separate custom class, and I am saying that this is my controller. So if I refactored my code in such a way, so I think I have resolved this problem.
Yeah, in that case also that will be
get resolved. And still my approach is MVC, model Vue controller.
Controller, right?
Then if this is the approach and this is MVC, then what is MVVM?
Because in both practices, what will happen? Let's say we have an API call, right? So we will make that logic in the controller, and in this case, Vue model. When we get the results, then we will call the models, right?
Okay, when you basically now the controller and Vue model are nothing. Controller and Vue model are the class which have the responsibility of technical logic, right?
Right.
Right. So when you will call it as this class as a controller, and when you will call this class as a Vue model, this is the question.
So in that case, I'll call that as a Vue model. But
why? That is my question. When you will consider this class as a controller, and when you will consider this class as a Vue model?
No.
Okay. Suppose that you are using. Have you heard about two-way binding?
Yeah. Yes.
What is two-way binding?
So basically, so from see, we can pass the data from the Vue model to the Vue, right? This would be a single way, and the two-way would be exactly reverse at the same time.
Reverse at the same time is
from Vue to Vue model.
Vue to Vue model. Okay, yes. You are saying that for single way is passing the data from Vue to Vue model, and this is the reverse thing.
Yeah. So basically, there could be a kind of observer thing, right?
Okay.
If something change happened in the value, so that will get triggered.
Can you explain this concept with some example?
Actually, I haven't applied really two-way binding. RX Swift and that.
Can we implement two-way binding in MVC?
Two-way binding in MVC. Yes, we can.
Okay. Why we need two-way binding?
So generally, action when we perform any action on UI, right? That trigger get invoked, and the view model knows that it's something action happens, and we need to perform some action, right? So this is the one way, right? The same way, if something happen, for example, if there is a change in data, something is added in something array, for example. In this case, what should be happen through the view model to the view?
So what should be? Hello.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, you are saying that when there is a change in the data, then.
Yeah, that then on that change of data, what should happen, so that we can define, right, in view model. So this is, I think, a two-way, right?
Okay. What is solid principle?
Solid principles, basically those are for development's perspective. So which, if we try to apply them, then our code will be much more clean way. We'll have readability. We'll have will be maintainable.